e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, and d4. Take, take, and g6, we have the Accelerated Dragon with c4, a Maroczy bind, knight f6, knight c3. Now my opponent takes in the center and goes d6. Now it's good to just get your bishops out to e2 to e3, and it's important just to get the queen out the way with queen d2. A voluntary retreat. The reason I played queen d2 here was if I played a normal move like castle, then knight g4 is a problem. His bishop attacks my queen as a discovered attack, but also his knight attacks my bishop. So if I move it, then take, take. I've lost a really good bishop, and his one is just so strong on this diagonal. Queen a5 and rook c1. I'm planning to go b3 and f3 just to defend the center. Now I've got this structure. Pawns on b3 and c4, pawns on f3 and e4, and I've got control on d5. So I've got a lot of space, and we're about to head into a familiar endgame, and black is a little worse. That's why this line is just so difficult to play as black. Queens come off after knight a4, take, take, and he goes rook c6. Another option was just to play knight d7. Now, because he didn't play that, I can play knight b6. Rook d8, and I get space on the kingside. g4, h4, I'm planning. He wants to trade pieces with knight d7, but because I've got space, I want to keep pieces on the board. I'm making progress on the kingside. He doubles rooks on the c-file. When he doubles rooks, maybe he wants to trade. He wants to go bishop takes d5. If I take with the c-pawn, the rooks come off the board. So now I play knight b4 just to avoid a trade. He can only play rook c7, and now I make progress on the kingside. So I really like what I'm doing in this game, and he plays bishop b2, which is a great move. Just putting a question to the rook on c1. I played rook c2 and later on fell for a tactic. I'm just glad he didn't see it. Maybe I should go rook d1. With rook c2, I plan to go rook c1, also trying to compete for the c-file. At the same time, I'm gaining space. I want to go g5, h6, lock it up. There's no point trading because I want to go after these pawns later. With f4, I'm making progress on the king side. I'm restricting his play, and the pawns highlighted in red could be targets in the future. Knight c5, bishop f3. And a5 is a really good move, just putting a question. Now here I could go knight d3. Knight d5 is still good, but then I fall for a trap. Knight d5, I pre-move c-pawn capture, and here I'm just lucky that he didn't play the trap. Here what I should have done was taken with the e-pawn. I need to time it when I can put my bishop on c4. At the moment, black can't reroute with knight a6 because this is a problem. He can't go rook here because bishop g4. If he goes knight b4, I think I can just move the rook, and then I'm good. This bishop attacks rook, this bishop can come here to attack this rook. But after c takes d5, I'm losing because he's got a tactic on the c-file. Both of his rooks on the c-file, now he can play knight takes b3 check. Not knight takes e4 check because bishop takes, and now this bishop defends the rook. Knight takes b3 check, take, and then rook takes c2. I am losing. In the game, I should have taken back with the e-pawn. But neither of us saw this tactic. Rook c1, king d8, and now I go e5, blocking the diagonal. He can't take on e5 because the knight on c5 will drop. That's why he played b6. Now bishop d4. I don't want to take, so with bishop d4, I'm locking out his bishop on h8. Time management is poor. I've got 22 seconds against his 1 minute 10. So I'm about 50 seconds down on the clock. Now king d7 gives me a free check, a check with tempo. He blocks, then I go king e3. So he did not have time to play knight e4 check. Take, take, I don't want to take with the bishop, so I take with the f-pawn, keeping his bishop locked in. Now I've got threats with d6 and his rook on c7 is misplaced. The plan is for me to take over the c-file. So he just moves his king, d6, and I want to come in. Rook c6, a3. I should have played bishop f3, but it leads to the same thing. Bishop f3, yeah, not b4 or else he could retreat the knight. So, no. Bishop f3 and winning the rook. 13 seconds against 18 seconds. Knight b3. Let's take with check and then take again. Now you can take on c1, but I can throw in a pre-move, knight rook c7, check, and then take on b6. I don't really want to take the knight because I can go after the bishop on h8. 7 seconds against 6 seconds, but I've got a runner and that is checkmate. So that's a really cool finish, promoting with mate on d8. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video, where I talk after the game has been played. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release another video.